Hello, and welcome to the Volunteer Success Report. Many of you may have seen the Volunteer Success Report looking like this from your email account. One of the interesting things about this is that the new Volunteer Event Success Report has been updated to better reflect the needs of the volunteer. If you look at the screen over here, you'll see that I opened this Volunteer Success Report within my Google Drive or within my Gmail. By clicking on it, not much information comes available. And that's one of the things that we wanted to change and make more informative for you. So one of the things that you could do with the Volunteer Success Report is you could download it and open it up in Excel. The very big thing to be mindful of is that you need to enable editing at the very top in order to fully access and utilize all of the resources that the Volunteer Success Report has to offer. This is the old Volunteer Success Report. As you may recognize, it has the 5 different tabs on the bottom for the cover page, traditional Relay for Life information broken down by the 6 regions and the other organizations, and a grand total. It has Relay for Life DIY events or do-it-yourself events. You could break it down by market, depending on where you live and what area you're trying to support. And then it has information about the ELT, the Event Leadership Team Core 4. With all of this, this is what the old report looks like, and we wanted to be very mindful in the way that we create this new Volunteer Success Report, so that way it's the most effective system possible for us as volunteers. This is the new Volunteer Event Success Report. This report, as you can see, is very detailed, very pretty looking. Something to be mindful of is that you need to download this report to Excel in order to fully utilize all the features that it has to offer. Once you download the report and you enable editing, by clicking Enable Editing at the very top within Microsoft Excel, and you enable editing, you'll notice that the formatting changes and it shows you much more information about what you need in order to be successful as a volunteer. So looking at the very top, and all this information from the old report and the new report are exactly the same. There's literally zero difference, except the way that the information is presented and accessed for volunteers like you. This top left box contains the income, overall income year over year. And if you hover over it, when the enabled editing is selected, it'll provide you with a brief description or definition of what exactly that information entails. And so far, the online totals as of today's date, the direct expenses, how much money was spent directly year over year compared to last year. With direct expenses, this does not include staff time. This is primarily funds that are directly spent out of the budget for your event. Sponsorship total, so how much money is raised for sponsorship. Teams, the overall volume of teams in an area. The retained teams, so teams that have returned year after year. Teams raising money, so how many of those teams have raised money. The total number of event leadership team members. So total number of survivors. Survivors that are returning to the event. Survivors new to Relay, so these 2 boxes should combine up to this one. Survivors on teams shows that more teams raise more money when there's at least 1 survivor on the team. ACS CAN members for local events, and then ACS CAN dollars raised. One of the great things about this report is it gives you the summation of everything you might possibly want in a nutshell at the very top level. But if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see that you can access every single event and how they're doing up to this point. This is overwhelming to look at, and that's designed that way so that it helps everyone. So one of the things that our amazing report creator, Dominic, along with Judy Reichling and some volunteers from across the country, helped to develop was this great drop-down tab menu. If you look at it very close, and there's a color chart guide, because I'm visually impaired with color blindness. So by having this colorblind chart available, or a color guide chart, it makes it a little bit easier to access and understand the information above. So looking at this, and this is just the numbers that you might want to see as of the information above, if you prefer just numbers based rather than a bar graph. One of the things that you can do is you could determine your region that you want to look at. So right now, I'm going to select my little region by selecting this little drop-down menu. And this is only available when you are downloading the report in Excel with an editing enabled. I click on it, I'm going to select the Northeast region because that is where I'm from. If you want to select multiple regions because you're trying to do larger scale, check off that box and select any regions that you find relevant. So you're going to select the region that you want and hit OK. Once I do that, you'll notice that everything on the report changes because it's giving just the information for just the Northeast region. But if you want to get even more specialized, you could look by specific market. So I live in the New York City market at this time. So I'm going to select the New York City market, and now it'll drop down even more, specifically just towards my market or my area. This is a great resource if you're trying to find a specific event, because now the pull down of my market is only 134 events or 134 rows instead of my initial 5,000 plus cells or 5,000 plus rows. You can also search by director, by their name. This might include executive directors and directors, depending on where they are, because some areas have multiple directors. This also includes senior managers, so if you want a little bit larger of an area. And then lastly, community managers, with all the community managers who are a process in the system that want to provide information. You can also search by subtype, which is community, college, high school, corporate, or Hope Lodge-based events. So we're going to keep it as all because I want to make sure we have all the information possible. But this is the volunteer success report in a nutshell. If you scroll down a little bit further, you could see for each specific event how they are doing and how they are doing year over year with all of the information that you've wanted to experience. And if you look at the very top of the screen at this time, you'll be able to see exactly how the event is doing year over year. Some people like to look at the charts like this. Personally, I like this chart up top. This gives me exactly what I'm looking for in a much more easy to read way. With that being said, if you have any questions about the volunteer success report, you could reach out to a member of the nationwide volunteer team, and they'll be able to provide you with additional support on how to read and utilize this report to best support events in your area and your event itself. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Otherwise, once again, my name is Zach Dane. I'm a proud volunteer of the American Cancer Society, and I hope you enjoyed this short presentation about the Volunteer Success Report.